Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Friday Discovery session. I'm Kelsey Brasil, Project Manager here at Efficiency Canada, and also your go-to gal for our DiscoverEE Career Hub, which you can hop over to after the session if you'd like. I'll post a link. Efficiency Canada operates within Carleton University, and we acknowledge that the location of our campus sits on the traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. However, today I am calling you on the ancestral, unceded, and unsurrendered territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Before I get started, I want to remind everyone that our guest speaker will present for about 20 minutes, and then I'll open the floor to questions. So you can use the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and then I'll facilitate that at the end. We do have a hard stop at 12:45 Eastern time so that everybody can finish their lunch, breakfast, afternoon snack, depending on where you are in the country or the world, perhaps. So with that, I'm pleased to welcome our guests today, Jana and Art from Efficiency Manitoba. And today we're going to do a deep dive into planning for an energy efficient future with innovative partnerships. So please join me in welcoming Jana and Art. Take it away.
Thank you, Kelsey. And yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Art and I are excited to talk to you about our Innovation Fund. So brief agenda for today. So yeah, big hello from Efficiency Manitoba. This is our first time presenting at one of the DiscoverEE sessions, and we're really happy to be able to share some of the great work we're doing. And so Efficiency Manitoba, if that name is new to some of you, we're a new Crown corporation dedicated to energy efficiency. We launched in April 2020, offering energy efficiency programs and services to all Manitobans. We carried on with some legacy programs from Manitoba Hydro and have introduced many new offers, including the Innovation Fund. Today, I'm going to discuss the fund design process and objectives of the fund, and Art will discuss the fund structure, information on the process, and share some details on the submissions we've received to date. We look forward to discussing further at the Q&A at the end of our presentation. So the Innovation Fund was first included as an enabling strategy in our 2020 to 23, so our 3-year efficiency plan. While we are specifically implementing our plan for the current 3 years, we acknowledge that we have 15 years of targets to achieve. And like most industries, the energy efficiency industry is changing rapidly. To maintain our ability to achieve energy saving targets over the long term, we need to have a disciplined focus on innovation. The Innovation Fund is a new strategy as a part of our commitment to exploring emerging opportunities in Manitoba. This approach will allow us to capitalize on opportunities that we already anticipate, to take advantage of new applications of existing technology, and as well as opportunities that have yet to emerge. Our budget for the Innovation Fund represents approximately 1% of our annual budget, so on average about $750,000 per year, and will fill the pipeline with future energy efficiency programs. In late 2020, Efficiency Manitoba engaged Dunsky Consulting to aid the development and design of the fund. The steps of that work are described on the left side column of this slide, and I will go into a few details of those stages. Upon completion of that work, the fund launched in September of 2021. So through the design process, we engaged with individuals working in the innovation space in Manitoba. Presented on the slide are some of the key findings. We found that research and development funds were readily available in Manitoba through different agencies. However, less funds for the later stage demonstration or deployment of innovation. We heard of a desire to pursue new applications of existing technologies, and that northern and remote communities should be a focus due to the barriers they face. Stakeholders reminded us to focus on ease of application and clear criteria, which is important on all of our programs, and especially this new and unique Innovation Fund. Socializing the need for energy efficiency was described as a key to success, as well as engaging a broader group of stakeholders when more information was available. Dunsky also performed a jurisdictional scan across North America of successful innovation funds. The little image on the right shows some of the specific locations that have innovation funds. Information from this process was used to help in the design and build out topics for the further engagement that took place. Some of the key items from this jurisdictional scan listed on the slide include a 2-stage application to streamline intake, field testing for local climate. That's a big factor in Manitoba, given our cold climate. Some technologies that are successful in other jurisdictions have yet to break that climate barrier in Manitoba. Capacity building to set the stage for deployment, really important, especially depending on the part of the province that we're looking to deploy a new technology. Outcomes directly linked to energy savings targets and programs, really key that anything that is supported meets the mandate of Efficiency Manitoba. Complementary technical marketing and project management support was something we found was a best practice and something that we've taken into the design of our fund. And the customer and proponent contribution, right? We need to be able to ensure that they're accountable for the success of a project by having a stake in the game. And diversity through private sector and research institutions. So bringing forth a lot of that information gained from assessing the Manitoba innovation landscape and the jurisdictional scan, we engaged a local table of interest group to provide a stakeholder perspective for the final development of the Innovation Fund. This format was a virtual, consensus-based consultative process outlining proposed modifications for consideration in the final Innovation Fund program design. Listed on the slide are the key themes, all of which were implemented in the final fund design. We're very happy with the work that went into the fund design and engagement, and the time we took in that process was appreciated by the stakeholders and shows in the successful end result. So at the conclusion of the fund design process and engagement with stakeholders, we were confidently able to state the intent and objectives of the Innovation Fund. Ultimately, the Innovation Fund supports organizations who are looking to advance new and innovative energy efficiency opportunities in the Manitoba market by providing funding for pilot projects and partnerships to reduce common adoption barriers to emerging energy efficient technologies and strategies. The key objectives of the fund include evaluating the effectiveness of technologies and approaches within the Manitoba context, supporting the development of future electrical and natural gas efficiency programs, fostering economic development through capacity building and local project delivery, and enabling participation by Indigenous organizations that address the unique needs of Indigenous Manitobans. So that's the history of how the fund came to be. And now I'll pass it over to Art to speak more about the focus and the future of the fund.
There's 3 primary stages of innovation that energy efficiency innovation funds can support. Most successful funds only support 1 or 2 of the 3 stages of innovation. Really, attempting to cover all 3 stages would spread resources a little bit too thin and would risk reducing the impact or effectiveness of the fund. So as part of the Manitoba landscape assessments that Dunsky worked with us on, it showed that there are a lot of players already in the Manitoba R&D sector. So for this reason, and to mitigate risks, Efficiency Manitoba's Innovation Fund is not focused on R&D. Rather, we're focused on projects that are ready for field testing in Manitoba or for deploying to early adopters by reducing barriers to participation. Slide. Some key facts on projects and applicants and the fund itself. We have two dedicated streams to provide project focus. One of them is a technology demonstration stream, and this speaks to product or technologies. And this stream is intended to evaluate the effectiveness of a new technology in the Manitoba context. So this would be ideal for technology developers, project or product manufacturers, for example. The market capacity stream is intended to reduce market barriers and improve understanding of energy efficiency technologies to increase market penetration. So this could be suitable for communities of practice, peer learning networks, capacity building, training programs, go-to-market studies and strategies, or program pilots. In terms of eligible applicants, the fund's open to a variety of actors in Manitoba's energy efficiency landscape, including Indigenous communities. With the funding offer, while we can offer up to 3/4 of a project's costs with a ceiling of $250K, we've designed the program to encourage co-funding from other sources. With the application process, as Jana mentioned, we have a two-stage hybrid application process. The first part is the expression of interest, and this is open year-round, and this provides flexibility for proposal planning, but it also allows for the opportunity for some in-depth dialogue. This step is key for us. We didn't really want to have a situation where proponents submitted a comprehensive application just to find out that the project didn't qualify. So once we've identified that the EOI is eligible and we've had that dialogue, proponents are invited to submit a detailed application and review within a fixed window. And this is, of course, after the application and EOI has been reviewed and scored internally. Slide. Looking further at eligibility, all sectors are eligible. For the applicant types, we wanted to make sure that there was a Manitoba flavor, that it fit within the Manitoba context. We wanted proponents to actually be from here or to be operating here. Ultimately, we're looking for energy savings. Sustainability and greenhouse gas reduction can be added benefits, but are not the core focus of this fund. If it only reduces GHGs, but doesn't reduce electric or natural gas use, then it doesn't fit within our mandate. In terms of Efficiency Manitoba's other incentives, the technology must not be eligible for something we already have running. That said, one caveat is that if it can enhance the delivery of an existing program, that could be eligible. We're often steering applicants to other existing programs and have found a close linkage with our Custom Energy Solutions program. This is a competitive process, so if there are a lot of applications and we're approaching the fund ceiling, then the projects that most cost effectively align with our mandate will get funding. And in terms of the qualifications, again, we're looking at reduction of electricity or natural gas use in Manitoba. We want the energy efficiency technology or strategy to be replicable for numerous customers in Manitoba. We need to have a physical presence in Manitoba. The organization must be a corporate, nonprofit, or community organization, and it must incorporate, or it could also be municipalities or Indigenous communities. The project must also incorporate aspects of innovation, including efficiency, cost effectiveness, commercial acceptability of the new energy efficient solution. And the project must advance a technology or solution in the residential, Indigenous, commercial, industrial, or agricultural market. These qualifications we share upfront, and that's ultimately how organizations or the proponents' applications are scored. In terms of evaluation and reporting, applications are evaluated by Efficiency Manitoba staff, and if we need external advisors and subject matter experts. The review team works with the applicants to address any questions related to the application and may request any missing information. Again, the application or the evaluation criteria look at energy impact, market potential and cost effectiveness, the degree of innovation, applicability to Efficiency Manitoba programs, the qualifications of the applicants, economic development, reaching underserved communities, as well as Indigenous involvement. In terms of risk management and mitigation, we're also considering the political context and the reputation for each of the submissions. We also have staged financial support across several milestones. So if we find that an innovative idea doesn't complete its course, then we don't pay out too soon. We've aimed to keep reporting smooth and streamlined, scaled to the size of the project, and focused on the essential data. In a situation where a proponent is already submitting detailed reports, let's say to a federal funder, we'll accept a copy of that report rather than require something that's just for us. Slide. When we launched the program back in September 2021, it was promoted with a news release that captured a lot of attention. And as a result, we received numerous inquiries and expressions of interest applications. Some were for technologies that we already had programs for. So we sent those to that respective program. Many were for R&D, so we directed them to other funding sources. Some were outside of our mandate. Greenhouse gases only, for example, or situations where no natural gas or electric savings would be found. And then there was others who simply just didn't have the opportunity for adaptability in the Manitoba market. Of the projects invited to submit a formal application, only one was declined, and the remaining moved forward to receive funding and sign contracts. A few projects were invited to submit a detailed application, but we didn't receive any to date. And at this point, we have 6 projects with signed contracts, and we're actively discussing and awaiting information on a few others that are kind of moving forward. Slide. Now, this is the fun stuff for us. So here's a bit of a snapshot of some of the projects we're supporting so far. We have a smart vertical farming project that's focused on cold climates. So this, as you can see, optimized indoor agriculture with full control systems contained with a high performance, climatically adapted building. This one for us is a really interesting one, given the climate, but also given the partnerships and relationships the proponent has with Indigenous communities and nonprofit organizations. Another project we have committed to is for ground source heat pumps, where, well, in new construction where piles are being used, they have the heat exchanger piping embedded inside the structural steel foundation piles. And this is, while this itself isn't going to create energy savings, this will, if after testing it performs, potentially have a significant decrease in the cost of installing ground source heat pumps in new construction. We have another project that is a multi-unit residential building that's being targeted to be net zero infill and operated as a co-op funding type of. This one will be interesting as a demonstration project to really illustrate that net zero can be done affordably with creating affordable housing. We have a project where the proponent is using aerial drones mounted with infrared cameras to actually do air leakage assessments and use AI analysis within that approach. We have another one for steam trap monitoring, where rather than waiting for that once-a-year inspection to see that a trap has failed, this is live, web-based wireless monitoring, so they can be notified basically when a steam trap fails, and there's no batteries required. It's the actual monitors are using thermoelectric generation. And the final of the projects that we've committed to so far is a highly insulated pre-engineered building, where this building and the building envelope insulation panels are free of thermal bridges and put on the exterior of the pre-engineered building. And this one, again, is largely to be a demonstration project. Of all of these, the first one, the smart vertical farms, is the one single currently in a technology stream, and the remaining 4 are all for the market capacity stream. Each of these projects has been scored with our internal technical teams, and we're moving forward with them. And we're looking forward to moving forward on some other ones that are currently being evaluated. Slide.
Yeah, thanks, Art, for touching base on all those exciting projects. In advance, we're done our formal presentation, and I just wanted to ensure that our contact information was made available to anyone who, aside from the Q&A coming up, if you were wanting to reach out to Art or myself, we'd be happy to further discuss the Innovation Fund. We also have a ton of great information on our website on the Innovation Fund, including a detailed program guide and a little bit more information on the program and all of our other programs, of course. So with that, I will stop sharing so that we can get into the Q&A.
Amazing. Thanks, Jana. And thank you, Art. I particularly love learning about the different projects you're supporting, especially the vertical farming. When I was a student, I remember doing a project on that. And so it's just cool to see those types of things happening, because when I was a student, it was just kind of, I don't know, a dream. Like, it wasn't something that, you saw happening. So anyway, before we open the floor to questions, I do want to let everyone know that this session is being recorded, and we normally get them up on our website the following week, midweek and week. So you can find those in the events tab on our website under event archive, and that's where this will be posted, and any relevant resources will be found there as well. So just to kick off our question period, we have a question from Michael about your benchmarking process. He asks, did you benchmark with IESO? Oh, it moved around, 1 second. On all the work that they've done on their innovation fund. They've been continuously improving for close to a decade. I'm not sure if you can answer for that.
Yeah, IESO was one of the 5 organizations that were a part of that jurisdictional scan. Just to round it out, it was Hydro-Quebec, IESO in Minnesota, Virginia, and another Quebec organization. So we were excited to get those details.
That's great. And I was just going to say, yeah, you want to go ahead and answer?
So I was part of that initial engagement. So I'd have to find out exactly the reports that were made available through that jurisdictional scan and the benchmarking, and I can definitely provide what's available, maybe through to Kelsey or however we can do that best.
Yeah, that's perfect. If you want to pass it to me, then I'll be sure to put it on that website page so folks can access it. Thank you. Okay, we have an in-house question from Brendan Haley. Can you talk about any challenges or strategies on arguing the need to fund this work before your regulator or government approving the DSM plan?
Yeah, you know what? We actually had minimal challenges, because over the history of energy efficiency and demand side management in Manitoba, there was comments that we could do more in the innovative front to promote new opportunities. So this was something that Efficiency Manitoba was eager to have in our 3-year plan, and something that the regulator and then the provincial government who supports and has where our mandate comes from, really supported it and promoted it. So they're very excited to hear about the things we're working on. And so we're very fortunate that was a successful and easy path in our 3-year plan approval.
That's great. Anything to add there, Art? Perfect. We have a question from Tanya. Does your demonstration funding require the participant to also complete measurement and verification?
Yes, and that often will depend on the type of project. Some projects may not be appropriate, but we do have MMV plans as part of the contract, depending again on the type of submission they have.
Great. Cindy's asking, oh, it just jumped on me. If there is a national organization that has engagement in Manitoba, would they be eligible to participate?
Yes.
Easy enough. There you go, Cindy. Okay, Miles says, great program. Good to see the variety of projects in progress. Will the results of the evaluations be available for others to consider these innovations, particularly early adoption measures?
Yeah, that's something we've been discussing with proponents at a time, one at a time, ensuring, so far we haven't had any issues with, something that's not like a prototype that's in trademark and, that's very confidential and would require, a non-disclosure agreement or anything. So as a public corporation, we do anticipate being able to share the findings of much of this, because again, the goal is to create opportunities for more Manitobans to implement the technology, or for Efficiency Manitoba to implement a program that's available at a mass market or at a, the repeatability of these projects is very important.
Yeah, and to add to that, for any proponents that are like a manufacturer or private sector company that's access this fund, if they have a successful product and then they're able to kind of access it outside the Manitoba market, I would be shocked if they didn't want to do that.
Great. David here is asking, can we as a manufacturer on the interior windows acrylic panel in Ontario apply with our Manitoba dealer and installer for the funding, as it would create jobs in all sectors as it reduces HVAC energy?
Yeah, like we would, an Ontario corporation can certainly apply. It would be, if it's something that could be made available to Manitoba home business owners, etc. Yeah, spark economic development. Those are all factors that we're looking at, and would certainly, encourage you to reach out with an idea. As Art mentioned, the expression of interest window is open all year round, and that allows for conversations to take place, and so we would certainly invite that.
Fabulous. That's great news for David. Jonathan here has a question. How will utilities support the scaling up of these electrification projects? Here in Ontario, our 59 local distribution companies are struggling with the hiring staff with the GIS and SCADA, maybe is how you say that, skill sets for monitoring the increase in load to their grids.
So the Innovation Fund isn't particularly about electrification. That could be an aspect of a submission we get, right? It could be, we aren't focused on fuel switching or anything that's currently within our mandate. We're really looking at that electricity and natural gas reduction. So from the Innovation Fund itself, we don't anticipate increasing electric load growth at this given time. There's many things about Efficiency Manitoba's mandate that would have to change before we would be really looking at that. And even then, that would be in close collaboration with Manitoba Hydro, with our utility, on how that would work and what areas of the province.
Thank you. Brendan has another question asking, can you tell us more about the drone/air leakage project? For instance, what company or researchers are involved?
Yes. So the project is the QEA Tech is the company with the drone capability. We are, and then Summerhill is a part of the application, facilitating like the project management of we're aiming at 11 buildings in Manitoba to have that drone analysis done, and which is also partnered with Red River College Polytech, a Manitoba organization that has a center that does the traditional blower door testing. And so ultimately the project will be comparing the results of a drone analysis to the traditional blower door analysis, and kind of taking it from there. So there's actually 3 parties involved in that project, and we're really, really excited about what every one of those groups is bringing to the table.
Great. Anything to add on that one, Art?
Jana covered it. Oh, you're on mute, Kelsey.
I just realized, thank you. I was going to say we have about 10 more minutes for questions if folks do have more questions. I did see that one just came in. If not, we're happy to give some time back in your day as well, but we do have more time. Jonathan here asks, does reduction in consumption not assume electrification? Would a successful vertical farm in a cold environment not have an impact on Manitoba's GHG reduction targets?
So I'll jump on this one. I mean, while Manitoba may have GHG reduction targets, it is not currently part of our mandate. So with the Smart Vertical Farm project, part of it is finding that balance. How can we, knowing that we're not using natural light in that particular project, and how can we most efficiently use that energy for lighting while we still have that reduced use of energy to basically to keep the facility warm.
And then building on this, the ability, so in areas of Manitoba where we are constrained by the electrical load and the, a customer would have to look at getting a service extension or increasing the electric, supply in that area for, say, a large traditional greenhouse. A smart vertical farm is going to reduce the electricity required and increase the ability to have them in locations without having to then increase the supply of electricity to that area. So while that's not, directly reducing energy that already exists, it's preventing their need for future as well.
Thank you. Pam's asking, how do you define innovation, and is there TRL level, or is there TRL levels you are specifying for the tech product being demonstrated?
I might rely on my technical team members. Gentleman Peter is on the call if he wants to answer that, but I personally don't know what TRL stands for. I'm sorry.
Peter, I can unmute you, or you're welcome to type an answer as well.
I should probably type an answer because I don't know what a TRL is either. But I think Art and Jana explained what we're considering innovation for our purposes, and it's in line with other innovation projects across the country in many ways. I can guess what TRL is, but I confess my ignorance of that.
Oh, technology readiness level. Thank you.
Well, we don't assign it a name like that, but that's implicit in how we assess and evaluate. And we have a scoring matrix, and we have individuals in our tech team who deal with each of the technologies involved.
That's great. Thanks, Peter. And thanks for being my first guinea pig for ever doing that, allowing a participant to talk. That was fun. Okay, David has a question here. What do you plan to do with the thermal results of the drones that show the air leakage and heat loss? What is the improvements that would apply?
So the drone analysis, so ultimately air leakage would allow us, allow a customer to see, to visually see where they're losing heat, and we would have, the end result would be we have an incentive available to get that air leakage study done, and then the proponent would go through our building envelope program to participate to increase the insulation, etc., in that space, and that's where we would ultimately see the energy savings of that program.
Yeah, and some of the sites that are part of the study are they're in the process where they know they're actually going to be doing some significant renovations. So the timing for them to participate in this research is really timely.
Great, thank you. Cindy was asking, where do you see the role of an energy advisor? I think this is particular to this drone project, but I'm not sure.
So energy advisor as a whole, we don't have in the context of the Innovation Fund. I mean, we have our main points of contacts and our internal technical team that we work, and guide through this process. Efficiency Manitoba does engage energy advisors through other programs that we offer, such as our community and Indigenous community energy efficiency plans. We have funding in place with advisors and then looking at that, if you're looking at it from the terms of an energy advisor who's, supporting something like the greener homes programs, etc., at the scale of which the drone project is focused on, it's definitely at larger commercial buildings. That's the current scope. That is to say, it wouldn't ever go down to the residential level, in which we're seeing those energy advisors doing the blower door testing and whatnot in the home. But that's not something that we've discussed at any point as to how that would apply to future development.
Thank you. It was in regards to the drone piece, so that's helpful
Okay.
that you added that. Okay, I might wrap up with this last question from Andrew. Can you speak to how this Innovation Fund's activities has contrasted with other innovation activities that would be more inward facing at Efficiency Manitoba, i.e. is industry better at innovating projects that could create potential programs or employees within Efficiency Manitoba?
What we're seeing would be more programs and more support in the private sector. So far, the projects that are occurring are ones where it would fuel that economic development, private sector involvement, which are also key pieces of Efficiency Manitoba's mandate. We have a custom energy solutions program that, in advance of having an innovation fund, was really that opportunity to, if it saves gas, if it saves electricity, bring the idea to us, and we can, and our technical team will work with you or your maybe consultant and find where it might fit. So Art had mentioned that this complements that program a lot, but it just takes things that are maybe not quite ready and allows them to have that funding to get to that stage where they could, as an example, be implemented at a facility.
Fabulous, thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, Jana and Art. I want to thank you for sharing your project with us. It's super interesting, and as always, the Q&A period is bumping. So thank you everyone for your great questions. So we will wrap up for today, but you can meet us again next Friday, where we will have another discovery session with Jesse Rowe from Alberta Energy Efficiency Alliance, and he'll be talking about PACE for new homes. So please feel free to join us. And as always, if anyone else is interested in presenting, we're happy to accommodate and share your projects. We will be kind of pausing over the summertime as everybody's kind of off on vacation. Fridays are time for us to relax and enjoy our friends and family. So but we will reconvene in the fall. So please feel free to reach out to us if you're interested. So again, thank you so much, Jana and Art. And for everybody else, enjoy your weekend. I hope it's sunny where you are. And yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you all for your time. Take care.
Take care.